Hi everybody, my name is Katie and welcome back to another speed build. This time I decided I would build a tiny home, and I actually decided to make this one a modern farmhouse style tiny home, at least as much of that as I could. Many of you probably know that I really like tiny houses, and I also really love modern farmhouses. I actually built a big modern farmhouse a couple weeks ago. I didn't record it, but it looks a lot better because there's a lot more space to fill with the decor for a modern farmhouse. And this tiny house, there wasn't a whole lot of space, but you can kind of see some of the elements in it. But I will be sure to link this house as well as the big modern farmhouse I built in the description down below for you. But you can see here, this one, I kind of built this. You might be like, this is kind of a weird shape. It's kind of a long house. This is actually, when I was doing this, the vision in my head was like, there's some sheds near where I live, and they have this kind of bump out in the front, and they're long like this, but people turn those into tiny houses. And so I was trying to recreate that. And you saw the roof. I struggled with that, but I ended up just pulling this forward, and because it covers the whole porch that way. I should have just done that the first time, but I was making it difficult on myself. I put some columns, and I put a fence up, and I couldn't find the fence in the color that matched this. So the fence ends up being white, but the columns are brown, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it was okay in the end. So you see, I tried lots of different fences to try and match those columns, but I guess there's just not one that matches, and so I just used a white fence. I tried that fence a couple of times, but I ended up with just this plain little fence here. Later on in the video, I screwed the house back. It's very close to the road right now. Yeah, and then it doesn't need a step, because since it's only up one tile, your Sims can just step up onto that without having to have stairs. And on the outside, it looks kind of not as pretty as I thought it was. But it's just vertical wood. Just vertical white wood. It's not in the wood category. I think it's in the masonry category. But it's wood paneling, basically. And there wasn't that window glitch. You can place windows yourself, or you can do the thing where it will automatically place windows. Well, I wanted to place them myself, but I've had this problem lately where it tries to just do that automatically, and it won't let me switch it off. But I did get it to work, so that was good. And that little bump out in the front. Oh, but I'm putting some lights in. I tried to put the kitchen and that bump out in the front. You'll see that later on, but then it didn't work because you're kind of limited in the Sims, and so I put a couch there instead. One of those little couches that fits in those bump outs. And I think it's pretty nice. So here I just painted the inside walls white, and then in the kitchen and the bathroom I put the white subway tiles that you see here. I use those in pretty much every house I build. There is laundry in this. I put the washer and dryer, the stackable ones, right next to the shower, and then I put the hamper in, and that sink is from laundry day. This house uses Parenthood, Laundry Day, and Jungle Adventure, and I don't think it uses anymore. It might use cats and dogs for the curtains. Okay, and then that mirror is from... That mirror, I don't know if it's from Parenthood or Kids Room stuff. One of them. But I guess I used a lot more packs than this than I meant to. Oh well. The flooring is from Jungle Adventure. I love this flooring. It works very well in a modern farmhouse. I use the same floor in the big modern farmhouse that I built. You can see here the bathroom's almost done. Just putting a little rug in. I tried to put that one in the middle, but then I didn't like the way it looked. So I got these little white ones and then sized them down in front of the shower and the sink. And I think it looks okay.
Did you wash this good?
Sorry if you hear stuff in the background.
Oh, I was talking to Britt.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if y'all could hear that in the background. Oh, and these little bird pictures, I put the two of the same, stacked up above, like that. And then here I was trying to figure out what the layout was going to be, because I knew I had the bedroom to do, and I also did a kitchen and a living area, and I was like, well, I know your Sims can walk on a half tile like that, so I put the bed there. And I actually put a wall in. You'll see that here in a little bit. I was fixing that triangular floor tile there and painting the wall. Oh, here's where I tried to do the kitchen and then realized that it wasn't going to work. And I love those counters. Absolutely love them. But I actually didn't use them. I used the Parenthood ones instead. Oh, and here I was like, well, I'll just put the bed like this and have the door there, and your Sims don't always scoot across. I was like, well, maybe I'll have the bed up here in the kitchen in the back, but I ended up leaving the bed where I had it originally. Because my main thing was having the kitchen on that wall. And then I was like, well, these triangular pieces would work here, but they don't work there. Not how I wanted them to. And so here I was looking for one of those counters that fits in the spot. I went with this one. See if it's in that spot perfectly. I scooted into the wall just a little bit. And then I realized that I wanted to put the bed how I had it originally underneath that window, and then the kitchen. And I do put a wall in at some point. Here it is, the wall. Just shifting the lights around so they fit in the rooms. And here I was like, oh, I'll use these. But I just didn't like the way they looked. Oh, I think the reason I didn't use it is because the corner cabinet would look really weird, I think. Yeah, see how the corner cabinet's white? I didn't like that. It doesn't look right, and so that's why I didn't use those. That's right. Yeah, I think this is when I decided. I was like, no, I can definitely not use those cabinets because they just don't look good. Not the cabinets, the counters. I did use the Parenthood stove and the sink. And I think that's when I decided to use the Parenthood counters too, because they knew they would match that thing that goes over the fridge. Well, apparently I paused for a moment. Here we go. Used these in this white and black swatch. And I put a sink on that one over here on the left. But your Sims can chop up food and stuff on the corner one, so I left it open. I don't know why I didn't use the Farmhouse sink here. Because there's a Farmhouse sink that matches, but I actually didn't use it. I'm not really sure why, but I think it's fine. And this little spot here next to the sink, I put this little tiny desk in. With a computer on it. I put a laptop on it. Which in reality, having a laptop right next to the sink isn't a great idea, because like, it could get wet. But in The Sims, you don't have to worry about that, so it's not a big deal. Ooh, and the TV. So I thought this was a cool idea. So you would just like imagine that maybe the TV is on like a swivel mount, but you'll see here I put the TV in the corner. It just took me a moment to get it to work. I had a hard time getting it to line up in the walls and being at the right height and stuff. And then I had to put the walls back in. I think it looks pretty cool. Obviously, like in The Sims, we don't have a swivel mount or anything, but your Sims can still watch that. Which I think is pretty neat. But putting the walls back in. And then, I don't know, adding the subway tiles. Oh, you see here, I put on move objects. I closed my game out and reopened it at some point, and so all my cheats had disappeared. Oh, and I also use tiny living in this house. Right, I love this little tiny living dressers. Put those on the other side of the bed. I'm pretty sure the bed is still functional. I haven't tested it, but I'm hoping it is. And I tried to put like a modern looking like blind over this window, but I ended up using, I think they're from cats and dogs. Oh no, they're from Parenthood, not cats and dogs. Okay, so there isn't any cats and dogs in this build actually. And I put a little canvas, so here with the cacti on it, on the wall. I like that one. And I put this one over the little desk with the sunflowers, because every farmhouse needs sunflowers, of course. I never used one from Cool Kitchen, the little one with the light. But since I didn't have overhead cabinets, I decided to size it down and put it there. And it kind of like overlaps with the TV, but I think it's still fine. Put a little mat in. Oh, and I put the Jungle Adventure mirror on this wall. I was going to put artwork, and I was like, no, I'm going to put the big mirror in. And I think it fits pretty well. Your Sims can just walk around in it. And that's pretty much the inside, I think. So now we're just going to do some landscaping on the outside. I put some little plants in and a pathway, and then I put a tree. Not much to it, but I think it looks pretty good. So here, I'm in my like little custom planter box to put the plants in. I think it looks pretty good. I'm adding some dirt, then I just put 3 little plants in. Very simple. Once I find them. These ones. These are from the base game, but they have the same ones in Jungle Adventure. But anyway, putting the tree in and then some terrain paint. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and now we're going to move on to the screenshots. See you on the next video. Hasta luego.